Hello fellow YouTubers, Bear Prepper here. Today we're going to can some citrus. I received some beautiful grapefruit from my friend Genius in Exile. Just got back from visiting her in her neck of the woods, and she gave me some grapefruit and showed me how to get them ready, an easier way than I was used to. You want to get it as clear as you can without the pith on each end. And see, I want to do that one again because there's pith there. And you said you want to use a really sharp knife. And then you're going to cut around the grapefruit. Don't worry about how much you leave on there, because you can use that as juice for what you're canning. You're just slicing it around it. The way I always tried to do it was peel it and then cut them out. That never works so well. Then all you do is you take it and you slice next to the vein all the way down to the center, and then you should be able to just push it out. Wow, works so good. And then I'm going to turn it, let's see, I'm lefty, so I want to have the empty piece to the way I'm going to cut, slice it down, and pull. And the reason you want to put a pan underneath you is because all this juice that goes in there, you can put in your jars. It's that easy. And just push it all the way down and pull. And pull. Now you're just skinning it right off of that. Can't believe how easy this way is. You're just pushing it right off. If you have really small ones, you can choose not to take them off, and you'll just juice them. And so I have a whole bag of grapefruit and oranges, because of course I'm going to do both today. And if you skip a skinny one, you gotta kind of move the other side off of it. Be careful you don't cut yourself. Two more. Push it down and pull it off. And sometimes if you set it on the table, it's a little easier. And pull it off. Come on. Slide off of there. See, I didn't cut the top part, and so it's kind of sticking. And then you'll juice this into your jar. But there we go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So let me do all these grapefruits. Well, here, let me show you an orange. See how... Well, these aren't actually oranges. They are... Are they mandarins? Yeah, mandarins. So let's see if mandarins work the same way. Cut it off. Cut it off. And slice it down and around. Yeah, see, I'm not getting all the way down. There we go. Take that off afterwards, not a big deal. And then pretty much feels like it's working the same way. They're a little softer, so alright, now let's try. Let's move these peels off and let's try to see if we can get them out. Section them. Oh yeah, those are easy. Really easy. My plans are to do oranges, mandarins, grapefruit, lemon, and lime. And get them jarred up, especially lemon. Because we're going to need that for canning. And I'll do them in probably smaller jars when I get to the lemons and limes. To add my acid for my jellies. And to be able to use to stop stuff from turning yellow. And there's just so many uses for lemons. And around here, we have seasons where lemons are really cheap. And there we go. So just as easy to do little mandarins as it was to do grapefruit. So I got a couple bags here. And I have some oranges that came off the tree. I know they're green, but they really are sweet. And we will do the same thing with those. And you just want to get all that white off so that you can slice them right out. I can't believe how easy this is this way. I've made my work so much harder than it needed to be. I guess I was always afraid of wasting any. And so I ended up making it 10 times as hard. And, you know, you're not really wasting any. You see how I just cut all that white off around the bottom? Because you're going to juice it anyways. So, I mean, look how fast that goes. You just got to trust in yourself. Whoops. Cut that one in half. Biggie. And, you see what I did there? So when you do that, I got the skin on this side of the orange. So you can just ignore it if you want and move on to the next one. Or you can go back and fix it. So easy. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll get all of these done, and then we'll show you how to can them. Okay, so I've got them all segmented and in jars. Ended up with 4 pints of grapefruit, 2 pints of tangerines, 1 pint of oranges, and then I went ahead and layered the, here I have oranges and tangerines, pineapple, oranges, and tangerines. I think that's beautiful. Should have done more of those, but I only had 3 of these jars, and I had already put these in, and I would have been too low on these to do full pints, so, but that will be good. Most of my juice came from the grapefruit. It more than covered the grapefruit when it was segmented. The orange covered the orange, and barely any juice with the tangerines. So if you're going to do tangerines, you're going to need to make just a simple syrup with water and sugar. Because I had so much juice, I was able to do just juice and water. So it's 8-to-1 for a light syrup, and that's what I want to do. Because I think I'll have 1 jar of juice left over to can. And I wanted to show you a little trick of how I determine how much water to put in my pot. Let me slide you over so you can see the pot. So what I do is I take one of my pint jars and I put it in the pot and I fill the water up around it. And I fill it up until it reaches this ring here. When it reaches that ring here, it's more than enough water to cover 2 inches above it. That's the easy way, because if you only got 4 jars of fruit to do, you're going to use a much smaller pot than if you have 10 like I do. So keep that in mind, that as long as you can do that, and then of course you're going to want to put something on the bottom of that pot. I'm going to use my pressure canner insert. And so we're going to bring this simple syrup to a boil, and then we're going to add it to our fruits and process. Okay, so I poured the juice in and ran my spatula around the sides, and then added some more juice till it's within a 1/4 inch of the top rim. And then I'm going to wipe off the top rim, making sure I have no fruit, the very top, with a damp paper towel, turning it frequently, because remember, this is simple syrup, so it's sticky. Now you can do just juice if you like, if you have enough. I don't happen to care for grapefruit much, so, and my kids like grapefruit with a little sugar, so I opted for a simple syrup, so that's less sugar I have to store to make this edible for them. And I was able to get a quart of juice and probably about a 1/4 pint, but I'll drink that. And then we take our heated rings, lids and rings, and I do not heat my rings because every time you expose these to boiling water, you're going to cause them to rust. So I opt not to. I know they're inexpensive to purchase, but in an SHTF situation, it's not going to be all that easy to replace them. Now I've got my water bath going, as you can hear, and I'll tighten these down more when I go to put them in the canner. Oops. If you do that, just toss it back in, because you don't want any of that fruit syrup on your lid, because that'll prevent your seal. So I'll be back with you and we'll put them in the canner. Alright, so I put my pressure canner bottom in the bottom of that, and you can use your tongs, but I'm going to hand tighten these a hair as I put them in. And you probably should use the canning tool and hand tighten them, and then use your canning tool to put them in. And since this is my fullest batch, I'm going to see if I can't get my hands in there. See if I brought the water up enough to do this jar. And as you see, I am short. So this jar is going to go in a different pot by itself, and I'll can that with the boiling water that is left over from this. I'll just get a narrower pot and do the last couple. Oh, and I forgot to say, you're going to process these for 15 minutes since they're pints. 25 minutes for the quart.